Back when I started, there was just one other treehouse in my area, and she was charging $250 a night with an $85 cleaning fee. So I just set mine a little under that at $200 a night with a $75 cleaning fee, held my breath and listed it. And I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't reevaluate that price for years, which equaled a lot of lost revenue. Right now it hovers around the $300 mark. That's an extra $100 a day, and I didn't have to do anything. I found that $300 is my sweet spot for that property. If I charge much above that, I start to see the star rating start to slip for the value. Airbnb has a price suggestion tool, but unless you have a very standard house in an area with lots of comparables, then it could be really far off. For instance, Airbnb regularly tells me to list my places in the $40 to $60 range when all my places are totally booked out and I charge between $250 and $400 a night. But they're just looking at it like this is a tiny place without any amenities. It can't be worth much. So that uniqueness factor is really hard to quantify. A fantastic resource is airdna.co. If you haven't bought or built anything yet, check out this site first. It'll even tell you the best places to invest. It lets you search one address for free, and after that you have to pay to get all the details of what other people in your area are charging, how frequently they're booked, what platforms they're on, and I find that it's super accurate. Okay, now let's just talk about discounts real quick. I must have been 15 when I read this article of these tree houses that you could rent in the redwoods, and on full moons they had half-price discounts. I love that idea so much that it stuck with me for another 15 years. So when I finished building my treehouse, I implemented it. And not even a year in, I had to take it off completely. So what happened? The guests that booked it on the full moon just to get that discount were my most demanding guests that I ended up bending over backward for them, and they didn't even leave super stellar reviews. Well, so what's going on? I think since it's out of their price range at the normal price, it was a big splurge for these guests, while it wasn't for my regular guests. So they expected it to be perfect. Any perceived hiccup was not acceptable. And they took everything that wasn't nailed down. They didn't steal, but dang, they were going to get their money's worth. I like to compare it. It would be the equivalent to me staying at the Ritz or the Four Seasons. Not something I normally do or budget for. So if I stay there, I am definitely taking the soaps and pins. If I'm staying at my normal go-to, the Holiday Inn, I don't even bother. I'm sure I'm a much better guest at the Holiday Inn than I am at the Four Seasons. I still offer discounts, but only to my guests whom have already booked. Therefore, they've already proved to me that they can afford it. We discount our orphan dates, which is an empty day between two bookings if it hasn't filled up like a month beforehand. I will message the guest on either side of the booking, tell them that it's half off, and ask them if they'd like to extend their stay. And usually one or the other does. That way there's no gaps in my calendar. I also offer a 20% discount to the guests once they have stayed at one of my places to use at a different property in the future.